30% of the economy, and is much, even I think it's much larger than that. But the finances available and finances which are availed by these sectors are 7% or even less than that. We can have a long discussion on this subject, and we can relate it to different aspects of the matter. But let me very candidly say and very bluntly say that one of the reasons that the financing is less is that the SMEs are not properly documented, so they are not eligible for financing, and the documentation is not there because of the impediments which are created perceivably or relatively by FBR, by the taxation system. Let's be clear on this. And I will just give you some of the statistics, then you will be able to understand what I am trying to say. In Pakistan, at the moment, there are 3.1 million industrial consumers of the electricity. Industrial and commercial consumers are 31 lakh. Industrial and commercial consumers are there in Pakistan. Industrial and commercial consumers. And technically, all of them should have been under the tax system. Out of them, only 43,000 are under the sales tax system. So you can imagine the 3.1 million consumers of the industrial and commercial sector who are actually SMEs, and the people who are registered under the sales tax, all of them should have been technically, except for some reason, the number of sales tax registered person or people who are filing sales tax are only 43,000 or something slightly more than that. So this shows the relationship between the documentation on what I say on our side, means taxation side, and the reality of the existence of the SME in Pakistan. So one of the fundamental reasons why the SME sector remains informal, then once they remain informal, that the documentation is not up to the mark to be eligible for financing, is the paradoxes about taxation system, I would say. There is a belief and there is a system, and I can say there is a trust gap between the SME and the regulators, that once they come into the system, that they will be harassed, they will not be allowed to operate in the manner they are operating, so they keep themselves out of the taxation regulatory systems. So I would say the documentation, financing and taxation system of the SME are all related subjects. Unless we unlock this battle between the conflicting forces, that there is a very wide, I would say, resistance or pressure of SME not to come under the taxation system, there will always be a difference between the SME which exists in the country, in the economy, but those who are formalized in the documentary sector and those who are in the taxation system. The problem which have arisen in the past, why these SMEs are not able to come under the taxation system, we have to understand it, and why they have not been documented. First reason is, yes, that there were incentives, there are reasons to be outside the system so they can avoid a certain amount of taxation. And unfortunately in our country, the taxation system in the past have been tainted more towards the trading side of the economy rather than the manufacturing side of the economy. So the SMEs who are on the manufacturing side were burdened from the two angles. One was the higher rate of taxation, the more compliance requirements, the more they were not competitive with the person dealing in the same goods when it is imported. So there was a tilt towards the preference of trading versus manufacturing. So the SMEs who were in the manufacturing sector were technically disadvantaged in the taxation system to come under the regular system on documentation. So they avoided and the system pervaded that the SMEs who are in the manufacturing sectors are neither well documented, they are not the part of the financial system, and they are not the part of the taxation system. But if you look at all economies around the world, the SMEs in the manufacturing sectors are the backbone of the employment for the growth of the economy and to support the whole overall objective of the economy. But in Pakistan, if you look at the policies which we have maintained, I restrict myself to taxation, we have discouraged the SMEs in the manufacturing sector to come under the system, and we have indirectly promoted the trading sector. So that is one of the reasons in the taxation policy. That was a policy aspect of the taxation system in Pakistan, which has hindered the documentation of the SMEs in Pakistan. And the government are seriously now working that the SMEs in the manufacturing sectors should come under this. I will dilate on this. The basic problem which we are facing in the taxation system is that our taxation laws, we have only one common taxation code. We have only one common taxation code, which is Income Tax Ordinance, which you call Income Tax Ordinance 2001, or Sale Tax Ordinance 1990, or FED Ordinance. That is applicable. By and large, the provisions are same, whether you are a large bank like Habib Bank of Pakistan, or you are having an SME running with 50 people, with 10 people in Gujranwala. So the laws, the regulations, the procedures, by and large the nature of filing, by and large the nature of documentation are the same. So we have not created a taxation-friendly environment for SME to be in taxation. So we feel they want to avoid taxes. Yes, there may be tendencies in some of the cases to avoid taxes, but at the same time we have to accept our position from the tax administrators that we have never tried to make the laws and things simpler for SMEs. For example, just give me I see some of the senior accountants sitting here, that just for the sake of argument, we ask the SMEs to, once they are in the system, to account for under a proper double entry accrual system, with all the jargons of accountancy and the complication of accountancy in the system, to be built in transfer pricing, anti-avoidance provisions, negative thin capitalization provision, and things like that. They are all applicable for the SMEs also, technically speaking. So we have technically made the laws inapplicable or non-applicable, or technically it's very difficult to operate in an environment where the regulatory environment is not conducive. If I am running a small factory with 10 people in Gujranwala, will I be able to hire an accountant or a chartered accountant to make books for me which are acceptable to the taxation people. So as I said, our regulatory framework is not conducive for SMEs to come into the system. The second aspect is, which we have to accept it and we have to realize it, that the perception of the people who are in the SME sector about the department by and large is not very comfortable. They feel that once they come in, they will be harassed. There is as I said at the beginning, there is a trust gap between the taxation regulatory authority and FBR and the SME sector. So there are two aspects. One, on the one side, we have a very difficult system to operate, and on the other side there is a very big trust gap. So all of this has led to a very simple conclusion that all of the people say, if I am SME, I should be out of taxation system. This is in their mindset. And once that mindset is there, or I have to make the books in a manner which are not conducive or are not relatable to my real business. When the books are not conducive or relatable to real businesses, then it is very difficult to get them finances, because they don't have a balance sheet or wealth statement to present to the bank for getting finances. Because I can get only finances on the basis of my financial statements, and those SMEs don't have financial statements of the quality which is required to finance them. So this is the basic handicap. Similar, just like the taxation system, in the accounting system, in the institute of chartered accountant, they have laid down certain procedures for accounting and for SMEs, but they have to be more simplified and they have to be more conducive to what is the ground reality of Pakistan. But keeping in my view, my experience in Pakistan, that the basic problem comes in, the financing comes in for SMEs, because SMEs generally start as a family business. They are generally family business. Once they achieve a certain level and they remain outside the mainstream taxation system, and they remain outside the mainstream accounting system and the finance system, once they achieve a certain level, then there is always a gap. That the business has become very big, but the wealth statement and the balance sheet is not corroborating those facts and figures. And that is, I have worked for 30 years in the professional finance, and I see that is the main problem of the SME operation in Pakistan. Because when they want to switch from a non-documented sector to a documented sector, there is no base. There is no base. There is no ground to start from where they can be part of the documented system. And to be very correct, all the amnesties we give in the taxation system is actually fill in that gap. That people say, why do we give amnesties? The question is, because there always exists a gap after some time, that the SMEs have grown big and there is no balance sheet, there is no wealth statement to support, and they want to come under the system. And we bring in some of them and some of them are not. So what is the way forward for ease of doing business and for the SMEs to come in the system? The way forward, in my personal view, is that the taxation system has to do two basic primary things for the SMEs. There has to be maybe a simpler law, a separate simpler law for SMEs, or a scheduler taxation or some taxation where the SMEs are required to have the minimum of the provisions to be complied with. In the past, we had some provision like small companies and things like that, but they have never worked because they were only definition of companies and things like that. What we have to have is a very comprehensive system of the accounting and taxation, because the tax, or I would say tax accounting and taxation. Firstly you have to account for the income, and then you will tax it. The problem is, are we asking a person having a small foundry in Gujranwala to have a double entry system and a balance sheet as per IFRS? Obviously not. So the question is, what is the tax accounting system we are conceiving? We have never conceived that accounting system for the SMEs to be there. Once that accounting system is on the place, then we will have a taxation system, and then we will have this documentation of the SMEs. We cannot have a documentation of the SMEs unless we provide them space to account for in the manner in which they are accounting for. The problem is not that every person who is running a foundry in Gujranwala or Gujarat, they have their own accounting system, but that accounting system may not be similar to what the IFRS says, or but there has to be a marriage between the two, and that marriage we have never tried sincerely. India has tried it, Korea has tried it, Japan has got it, even England has got some sort of provision like this. We have not done it. We have to do it. Then once that is there, then the taxation should be based on that accounting, and once that taxation is based on that accounting, then the SMEs will have the balance sheets and the wealth statements and things like that. I will close it by saying this, that I was in a meeting with one of the very important businessmen of Pakistan, and he was buying a company from someone, and the buyer asked you, do you have money? He said, yes, I have got money to buy this. He said, does it appear in your wealth statement? He said, no. So this is the problem of the SME sector. So the question is, and this actually goes back into the system when the SMEs is not in the so it's the ease of doing business. It's a matter of documentation, it's a matter of financing. So this trust gap between nowadays, the time has gone, when you will go to the bank will ask you, where is your wealth statement, where is the tax filing, what is the net wealth and the wealth statement, and things like that. And the SMEs don't have it. So by default, they remain, I say, undocumented for the formal sector, and they go for financing and other means for the informal sector. So this is what the main problem is. And taxation, as I said to you, taxation is one of the main reasons why things have not developed in the manner they should have been. So it's a very appropriate forum to discuss in forum like this the regulatory aspect, as Sidra has said, the whole regulatory aspect of the SME business. So unless all the sectors include and most importantly, tax to be taken into account, the things cannot move in the direction it should have moved. But now, from now onward, we, as you are aware, Pakistan is going into the tax reform program under the Pakistan Raises Revenue project of the World Bank, and one of the prime first DLI of that program is simplification of the tax law. The first indicator of that program is simplification of the tax law, because unless and until we simplify the tax law, we cannot bring the real people in the tax system. To be frank on this, I have worked on the taxation line for the last 35 years, and even now when I read the tax laws and some of the clauses, I cannot understand what does it say. So the question is, how can you expect a person not familiar with the taxation laws to go about these things and to resolve the issues which are there? Thank you very much, and I really congratulate the forum for having this lively and very nice discussion, and this is such a huge presence for this important subject to deal with. Thank you very much.
नाज़रीन, इस्लामाबाद में एशियाई तरक्याती बैंक के ज़ेर-ए-एहतमाम पाकिस्तान इनोवेटिव फाइनेंस फोरम से चेयरमैन FBR शब्बर ज़ैदी खिताब कर रहे थे। उन्होंने कहा कि SME सेक्टर के मामलात को दस्तावेजी शक्ल देने की ज़रूरत है। डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, फाइनेंसिंग और टैक्सेशन का आपस में गहरा ताल्लुक है। पाकिस्तान में SMEs को सिस्टम का हिस्सा बनाने की कोशिश नहीं की गई। SME और FBR के दरमियान एतमाद बहाल करने की ज़रूरत है। हमें टैक्सेशन सिस्टम में SME के लिए आसानियाँ पैदा करने की ज़रूरत है। अब तक के लिए इतना ही। मज़ीद खबरों और अपडेट्स के लिए PTV न्यूज़ के साथ रहिए।